Hey everybody, welcome to Beyond Automation. I'm Beth, the marketing manager for elliTek, and I'm here today with Mr. Brandon Ellis, president of elliTek.
Hey.
And Brandon is going to talk a little bit about tariffs today.
Yeah, let's talk about tariffs. Everybody's asking us about tariffs, and so we're going to take a few minutes here. And guys, listen, this does not, this is not something you should take to the bank. Don't try this at home. This is just simply my vantage point of what we're seeing and have seen based upon some meetings and some conversations with folks that we've had over the last few weeks. One of those was part of an event that an organization we're a large part of, newly a part of, the Association of High-Tech Automation Distributor, I guess just high-tech distributors.
Yes.
So AHTD.
Shout out to Leah.
AHTD rocks. Yeah, there you go. So we really enjoyed the meeting. That was my first meeting with them. It was really, really an enjoyable thing. We had a lot of keynote speakers. We were talking a little bit about one particular slide that I saw from a discussion that we had with Brian Bailu, who is retiring now, but I guess president, CEO, something like that, of ITR Economics, which is a fantastic organization, one that I subscribe to and follow. So certainly give ITR Economics a follow if you like, whether you're in manufacturing, distribution, or
It doesn't matter what
anywhere
field
in
you're
between.
in.
Yeah. So ITR has, we've known them for, I've been following them now for probably 3 or 4 years. So, before, are at the throes of COVID. So I guess that's 5 years.
Yeah.
Wait.
It goes by fast, doesn't it?
A good pandemic, time really flies, right? But through the pandemic, through the uncertainty thereof, through the supply chain crisis that everybody faced, that affected all the way down to users, general folks. Try getting a new car. Don't have chips. That's supply chain. And so they have always been very, very accurate, and they date all the way back to, 30 years, I think he said.
Yeah.
But their accuracy across all the verticals, all the different industrial markets has been, I think the record's 98.9% accuracy.
Yeah, that's incredible.
That's what I love about them. As a business, we listen to them. I make decisions for our company. We make decisions for our company based upon some of the things that we hear from them. And so that's one of the things I want to bring up, just that was part of that presentation, his presentation at the AHTD meeting. So also some of the things that our the principles that we represent as a distributor, a wholesale distributor, automation distributor, and what they're saying and what they're seeing, what they're planning, those kind of things, and how that might affect you. So a little bit, just a hopefully abbreviated discussion, but I think a lot of people will be interested in this.
Yeah. Do you want to talk about the slide first?
Yeah, we can.
Yeah.
So I'm controlling. So boom, should be seeing the slide now. So
yeah.
So that slide is not centered. So let me pull that up. But that slide, so let's talk about that slide and what it means. That shows the U.S. value of tariffs collected on imported goods as a percent of the U.S. total retail sales. So retail, because that's when you and I are at the store buying, right? So it's been produced, it's been manufactured, and now the price is the price to the consumer. Of course, price follows supply and demand. That's Economics 101. So the interesting thing here, 0.8%. Boy, there's a lot of news coverage going on talking about the impact of the tariffs and how it's going to ruin our lives and how it's just going to destroy us as a world economy, as a U.S. economy. And then we see 0.8% of the total U.S. retail sales is how much it will affect. It's affecting.
That's incredible.
That's nothing.
It isn't.
And so, but that's not newsworthy.
No, you can't sell ads that way.
Yeah. And again, kudos to ITR Economics for for letting us see this bit of research and data research. And the point of this slide is take a breath and relax.
Yeah.
News causes emotion. Emotion does affect markets. Today is April 23rd, 2025, right?
Yes.
Let's drop this graphic. Yesterday was April 22nd, 2025. Yesterday morning, the news, the radio, the newspapers, if you read newspapers, the news outlets, doom, gloom, markets closed down yesterday, markets opened and instantly headed down again this morning. Your 401k is going to pieces. It's doom and gloom. Yesterday afternoon, the president made a 30-second soundbite that also yesterday morning we were at 245% predicted tariff with China specifically. Now, there's many more other countries, but that's the one getting a lot of news coverage. And it's true. We, the U.S., we rely on China very much as far as a lot of the goods and services that we purchase and utilize. But so that's where they've been spending a lot of time on the news. 245%. I don't think that's changed. I think that was accurate. It got up to that, and I don't think it went up to any higher.
I don't think so.
So yesterday morning, 245%. The markets are continuing on a downward trend. They've gone down immensely over the last few weeks because of tariffs. This is what the news headlines have been, and social media and Twitter, X, all those things. Yesterday afternoon, the president comes out, says that he and the prime minister, I can't say his name, of China, had a call, and it went good, and we might be arriving at a deal, get away from this 245% nonsense. And the markets flipped. And all of a sudden, they went up. And today, looking at them, they're coming up. Mm-hmm. That's emotion.
Yeah.
And so you don't look at a 1-year trend, growth or whether it's increasing or decreasing. You don't look at a trend, which in my mind starts at 1 year, not even a month, not even, certainly not a day or an hour. Any changes you see, within a month are 100% the ups and downs of we human beings making decisions emotionally.
Yeah.
If we can look past that, if we can zoom out a bit to where now we don't see the emotions, the
just looking at the data.
Just look at the data. Mm-hmm. And what we see is still ups and downs, bit of a correction, but even across the last year, there is especially go out 5 years, we still see growth. And all of the data presented by ITR agrees with this, indicates that for the next 5 years, we are going to see in manufacturing, a growing trend, a positive trend. Positive trends across manufacturing. Manufacturing crosses all the verticals.
Yeah.
Whether you're automotive, general goods and services, durable goods, non-durable goods, they're all manufactured. Everything has to be made. And that's where tariffs really come into play. And that, of course, comes back to just what you said, the retail sales here in the U.S. That's what we the consumer, are buying it from. That all comes down to manufacturing. And so if manufacturing sees a growth trend, positive trend, growing trend across 5 years, then our 401ks have seen a growth trend.
Yeah.
We're not dying.
No.
So now let's talk about it very compartmentally, very non-emotionally, as to what we're seeing. How do you, if you're managing your business, if you're a small business, if you're a multi-billion dollar business, how do you possibly manage whatever it is you do based upon what's going on?
look at the data.
You can look at the data, but right now the data is all over the place.
Yeah.
Because the data is littered with, if it's short term, the data is littered with emotions. And so if you're in manufacturing, you may be thinking, last month was pretty good, right? You have an article that talks about last month, right?
Yes. It rose slightly. And let's see, manufacturing output rose 0.3% in March. And then there was a third straight month of job gains.
Yeah, because you're doing more. You need help.
Yeah.
Now, the other thing that is a reality, this is a hard data point. There are more open jobs, various jobs, more open jobs in the United States of America than there are working people. Yeah. And so there will always be open jobs. And that's not a dig at get out and get a job. There's even if everybody that could get out and get a job,
there would still be open.
There's still going to be openings. Yeah. There's only two ways to fix that. I said one way when we were prepping, and you came up with the second one.
I said automate. And you
automate, yeah. So if you're in manufacturing, you can certainly automate and help cover some of those jobs. Automation costs money, but you can do that. The other thing is to get out and start having children, and raise them up in the way that they should go, so that they can be a productive part of society. We just don't have the bodies to handle these jobs, and not all jobs can be automated.
Yeah,
not reasonably so. But the future's bright as far as automation. But we're still, even in 5 years, we're still going to not have automated the deficit between the number of people and the number of jobs. Now, Elon's talking about, well, if we can get manufacturing get totally automated, lights out automation,
yeah,
then people don't have to work. We just have goods and services, and it turns the whole need for money and all that on its head, because everything's essentially made for nearly free because you don't have the labor aspect. Which points to, I don't know, a utopian society or something. I don't know. And maybe we do it all on Mars. We'll see. But we're not going to do that in the next 5 years. I don't know that I'll ever live long enough to see that. But I guess my point is we're going to see an upward trend. But if you are trying to decide, what are we going to do? Do we need to do this CapEx plan? Do we need to do this expansion? Do we need to hire extra people? You need to look at, you're going to have to look at, like what we talked about, manufacturing throughput comes up. Because theoretically, there are some analysts that say, because of the fear, the emotion of coming tariffs, and that your prices are going to go through the roof, not 0.8%, but through the roof, you run out and you buy all the stuff. That creates artificial demand, which suddenly you need more supply. Supply is met by manufacturers, so you'll see an uptick in manufacturing production, which means they need more help.
Yeah.
So they're either their people are having to work overtime, which means now they're paying over time and a half, maybe even double time according to how many hours they're going. So they're paying more on labor, and they're doing it all. And so that happened last month. Well, the analysts say if that had never happened, they would have been the same equivalent output across 3 months, across the quarter. It just took a lot of the output from months 2 and 3 and shoved it into 1, but actually at less profit because you're paying overtime. You're having to get temporary labor. You're having to react to try to get. It's not a predicted growth, and so but in month 2 and month 3, you're not going to see that. It's going to fall off sharply because you did more in month 1, so now you don't get to do as much. There's not as many buying. They're buying on emotion. Should you make those decisions? This again, please don't take this as legal advice.
No.
Visit your own consultants. But I do think that what we're seeing from a lot of our vendors is they have to plan.
Yeah.
We don't know that there's going to be another soundbite today or tomorrow that all of a sudden is going to turn it around. That for not just for China, but for all of them, for Asian countries, European countries. I mean, everybody's dealing with this right now. So what I would say is expect a price increase because manufacturers have to try their best to prepare. And when we're hearing that probably around the May 1st time, so that's just a few days from now, you will see cost increases because manufacturers can't just wait and see.
Yeah.
The tariffs were on, and then you got some, they're trying to get their heads around it, and we put them on pause. 90-day pause. Sorry. How can you plan for that? And so ultimately, you're just going to have to assume it's going to happen, and that's what you're going to see the manufacturers do. So there will be a price increase, whether it's justified or not. Who knows? But they have to cover themselves just in case, and that not at the percentages that you're seeing on the news.
That's right.
They're going to absorb some percentage of them. They'll pass along some percentage of them to companies like ours, distributors. We'll absorb some percentage of them. We'll have to pass along some to the end user. Our end users are the manufacturers. They'll absorb some of them. And by the time you get that absorption down, you end up at 0.8%.
0.8%. Yeah.
0.8%.
Yes. Yeah.
And so I would say it's not worth the worry and the anxiety.
Well, you don't have any control over it, so it's out of your control. So why worry about something that's out of your control?
That's right. So it's up and down, up and down, up and down. Hey, but it's what makes life in this United States fun, right?
Oh, it's interesting times.
It makes for good news.
Yep, if you want to listen to it.
But please don't be anxious. But be wise. Be wise. I do think that you're going to see. We're expecting our manufacturers to start assessing some tariff increases, price increases, not just for the companies we represent. We're hearing this across the board within our industry. So you will see some of those. But again, I don't think our customers are gonna see some of that, but it's not going to be the 26, 56, 245% type things. I mean, I'd be very surprised if that's the case.
Yeah.
But the second thing is, wait till tomorrow. It's like the weather here in Eastern Tennessee. If you don't like it, just wait a little while. It'll change. And that's where we are right now with these tariffs, I think. You remember that, plenty of people are saying that the whole point of a tariff is to encourage companies to move manufacturing back to the United States. Sorry. That's not something you do tomorrow. It's not something you do this month. It's not something you do this year. It's not something you do in 2 years. Now, if you've got existing factories, we're seeing some of the automotive plants and whatnot saying, okay, we've got the capability, we've got the throughput, we'll move some of those models here, increase production back in the United States. That's great. But as far as you don't build in the United States and now you're gonna, that's a 3 to 5 year deal. So it's not realistic to think that a tariff is going to make that happen. What is happening, right, wrong, or indifferent, very apolitical here. I'm not on either side, but what is happening, this is data, is it's encouraging countries to come sit at the table and negotiate. Yeah. And whether you like it or not, it's happening at a record pace because it's not just one or two countries we're negotiating with, it's all of them. I mean, I wonder how many, I really would be curious about the data point of how many countries are not renegotiating the reciprocal tariffs with the U.S. right now. Yeah. I mean, it's across the board. And so that's great news, but don't let it keep you awake at night.
That's right.
And if you are, some folks have lost their jobs. Some folks have been laid off. And that's horrible, horrible, horrible. But please hear me when I say there are more job openings in the United States than there are human beings to fill them. So there are jobs available. It may take education for some of those. Not everything's easy, but if you can come away with anything, come away with a little bit of hope. There are plenty of people looking for new employees right now. Yep. So there you go. The last thing I'll bring up is the Fed. Not the Fed. They're great. But what's the rates going to be? Rates are not going to get any lower. They're just not. They're waiting on inflation to go down to this 2% level or close to 2%, along with the jobs growth and things of that nature. I don't know how long that's going to take. I don't know if we'll ever get there again.
Yeah.
but it's not looking like there's a lot of data to support that they're going to drop the rates as we were hoping they would this year. But I don't know. I mean, the president's, they're getting along right now, so maybe they'll work something out there. But if you've got to borrow money, if you're looking to buy a house, if you're looking to do an expansion, things of that nature, you might want to decide if you can do that sooner than later, because I think the next tick we'll see on the Fed, on the prime rate is going to be up instead of down. So.
Well, there you go.
That's not because I am some kind of financial analyst. It's because I listen to a lot of people that I largely respect, and they've been right a lot. And so I'm just passing that along. So that's really, I hope, maybe good.
Yeah. It's just don't get caught up in all the wildness of what you hear out there.
That's right. That's right.
Yeah.
And if you do want to automate, you can always call elliTek.
That's right. 865-409-1555 or www.ellitech.com.
That's right.
ELLITEK.com.
Yeah,
hey, thanks for joining us on Beyond Automation, Brandon. I'm glad you got to be here for our third in the series.
I enjoyed it.
Cool.
I hope we'll see what tomorrow brings.
That's true.
All right. See you, Beth.
See you, Brandon.
Thanks, guys.